I'm driving what was supposed to be the last generation Honda Prelude. This is a 5th generation Prelude, and Honda's invited me out to Southern California to drive all 5 generations of the Prelude to make way for the 6th generation after about 25-year hiatus or so between this 5th gen and the new hybrid generation coming out later this year. Underneath the hood, that lovely VTEC badge that we all have come to know and love. We have a 5-speed manual in here. Of course, you could get it with an automatic, but we're looking from this over 2 liters now, around 2.2 liters over the generations. They started with a 1.8 liter on the first generation. They just kept creeping up little by little by little. Now we have it finalized with a 2.2 liter. The new one coming out will only have a 2 liter, but it'll be hybrid assist with electric motors as well. And it'll have more horsepower than this. Very smooth, loves to rev, and once you get over 5,000 RPM, that VTEC kicks in. Let's talk about the exterior design. Growing up as a kid of the 90s, this was my favorite design of the Prelude. It looks, and I don't want to get hit by the traffic, but there's just not a lot of places for me to pull over. It looks in some ways like a miniature R34 Skyline from the side. They went to 16-inch wheels. With this generation, the 4th gen I just drove, I think that had 15-inch wheels, and the 3rd gen I drove had 14-inch wheels. But just the side profile of it, no cars are coming. Just look at this beauty. Still holds up today. It is arguably the best looking Prelude. Let me know. To me, it's between this one and the 3rd generation. The 3rd generation, of course, had the pop-up headlights, so that gets so much style points. But the long hood here, the line that goes on the upper door all the way back. We got, you know, the brake mounted on the spoiler there, the double overhead camera, the VTEC badge. I mean, these taillights, me growing up in the 90s, I just get flashbacks, like the cool Prelude badge, Type-SH, again with that torque vectoring up front, which was introduced on this generation. Like the 3rd generation, it kept that dual tip exhaust on the singular muffler back there. We even got mud flaps on this guy. Just an absolute spectacle of a design. And like I said, when I was growing up in the 90s, this was it. This was the car I think I wanted. I know. Why you didn't have to. She went into the line here. She was not even on the yellow line, even where close. She cut into the white line. She didn't want to hit me, but she was driving straight towards me. You guys know. You guys know how it is with those Prius drivers. I'm guilty here. I own a Prius. So anyways, I don't drive that like that lady. This is a car. This is the dream car here. Prelude badge here. And let's go ahead and get on the inside because, well, I don't want to be out here with these people anymore, driving over the lines and honking at me like I'm the bad guy. All right, on the inside, double horn, still works. Love the cloth seats. These are even more comfortable than the 4th gen I just got out of. Of course, you have the 2+2 design, so you got some bucket seats back there. The traditional, well, they moved the mirrors to the door finally. The 3rd gen, it was here. The 4th gen, it was in the middle for the mirror control. They all have this big window lock button, which I find quite amusing. The 4th gen brought in these really nice materials on the upper part of the door. All right, closing the door. They went back to more of a traditional tachometer and speedometer here for the 5th gen, which is very similar to the 3rd gen. The dash, great materials all the way around. We got airbags in here now. That's pretty nice. Of course, we got the standard sunroof, or moonroof, I should say. We upgraded. Where's my tape deck? My tape deck is gone. It's been replaced with a CD player. Still have the volume knob. Oh, I missed this so much from back in the day. How you could so easily, manufacturers, are you listening? You could so easily increase the bass, and guess what? You push it in, all right? And then you can also pull to adjust the fading to the speakers in the back, because back in the day, the big speakers were in the back. We got the 6x9s back there, so you'd always fade it to the back. Now everything is so front heavy with speakers, it's lame. I'll just say that. Am I going to get canceled if I say lame? I don't know. Treble and balance is so easy. You pull out to adjust the balance, you push in a half click for the treble. Just absolute perfection and what I would expect from Honda. Still have cruise control like I saw in the 3rd generation. Roof control, all right. Cruise control lights up there, so I'm assuming it still works. 5-speed manual, never got a 6-speed, and even the new one won't get a 6-speed. I'm a little sad about that. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll blow us out of the water and say, hey, guess what? Here's a Prelude with a 6-speed manual and a 2-liter turbo. Everyone lose their freaking minds, all right? But that's not the reality, okay? So let's go ahead and start driving this gorgeous 5th generation, what was the final generation Honda Prelude. Oh yeah, the steering immediately compared to the 4th gen is heavier. I like that quite a bit. Initial impressions on the clutch, it's a little bit less forgiving than that 4th gen, but I'm just pulling out of the parking lot. So we'll make, the clutch is more grabby and this engine has a lot more power. Oh, a lot more power than that 4th gen I was in. And again, this one didn't come with 4-wheel steering in the United States. It does feel quite nose heavy. The weight distribution on this model was 63% front. And so Honda incorporated their first iteration of a torque, kind of like a torque vectoring, super handling, not all-wheel drive that you see in the Acura lineup, but super handling, SH, to better put down the power so it can rotate the outside wheel a little bit faster than the inside wheel. But honestly, like, it does feel heavier. There's a beautiful the 3rd gen that is my favorite. And this one I'm liking better than the 4th gen. The interior is much more of my liking, with the traditional gauge cluster here behind the steering wheel. I like the cloth seats in here. They're a little bit softer. Still handles great. It just feels a little bit more nose heavy compared to the 4-wheel steering 4th gen that I was in, and noticeably more heavy than the 3rd gen. The 3rd gen though, like, I think is pinnacle. No, it wasn't the fastest, but it was the most nimble. And I think if I could put this 190 horsepower that we have here on this 5th gen with VTEC into the 3rd gen, it would have been like probably a perfect car. But oh man, I can hear the engine a little bit better. Maybe it's because I have the window down. Maybe, and the AC is working a lot better than it was in that 4th gen. Again, it's just going to depend on the model. Does this really only have 3,500 miles on it? 3,500 miles. That is it. And I don't want it on my feet. I just want it on my face. Thank you. Oh man, so smooth, just like the 4th gen. But again, I feel like I have 25% more power on tap. And that 4th gen felt like I had about 25% more power than the 3rd gen. So they just kept giving these things more and more and more power. Oh yes. I'm liking this better than the 4th gen. The brakes feel great, of course. Yeah, substantially more power than I was feeling in that 4th gen. And I don't have all the specifics memorized in terms of power. I'm just trying to give you guys my best impressions here on these old classic Hondas and getting my appetite whet for the 6th gen coming out. All right, ride quality in here, still fantastic. It feels very 4th gen. I have a lot of headroom, well, not a ton, but more than the 3rd gen. It feels very 4th gen in here, kind of like more of like a touring vehicle, except they've made it more boxy on the inside, which I much prefer. Like, even the inside of the 4th gen kind of curved around. That's a cool Hummer. Kind of curved around and felt like it was closing in on you. I like how much more spacious this feels compared to that 4th gen. Big fan. Getting into 3rd. Pulling it down. I kind of want to see what's this way. That way goes down towards the beach. I'm curious what this road's about right here. Super easy to start this car. Just getting into first like the 4th gen. Very, very easy to get rolling, and we're at a dead end. We're at a dead end. Okay, so we're gonna turn this around, and I don't have the 4-wheel steering that was offered for Japan and Europe on the 5th gen. I don't have it here because Honda did not. Okay, there's reverse. Honda did not incorporate 4-wheel steering in this 5th gen in America. I don't know why. It seems like a big misstep. Maybe they thought that the torque vectoring, super handling end of things would be just fine, but with this being so nose heavy, I think it would have benefited massively by having that 4-wheel steering when pushed to 9, 10 tenths of its capability. All right. There's that VTEC. There it was. About 5,500, it kicks in. 5,500. It's not quite as noticeable actually as the V6 VTEC that I had in the Honda Odyssey. Yes, the Honda Odyssey with the single overhead cam has VTEC. This has double overhead cam, and was, the 4th gen was the first to offer VTEC in a Honda outside of the NSX. So of course this 5th gen really nailed down the identity of VTEC as like a cultural tuner car, common jargon, if you know what I mean. VTEC is kicked in. It kicks in just over 5,000 RPM. All right, let's go to 2nd. There it is. Oh my goodness. So much fun. Sounds so good, and you're just enjoying, you're just waiting for that. It's like it goes up an octave in sound when it gets to that VTEC. I love it so much. I want VTEC on every single Honda still to this day. I don't expect the new Prelude to have VTEC, right? It's a hybrid, totally different monster. But I hope it's fun and engaging. But the fact that it doesn't have a manual is going to be a bit sad, in my opinion. Let me know if you guys are going to be sad that the new Prelude does not have a manual, but it has the S Plus button, and the paddle shifters are going to mimic kind of like a dual clutch with its speed and its snappiness. I think it's going to be fine, and it'll get crazy fuel economy for a sports car. But it's about time Honda brings back coupe into their lineup after, the Accord and Civic coupes have been killed and canceled over the years. It's about time they do it. Oh my gosh. This is the best engine of them all so far, by far. This is the creme de la creme of Prelude engines, at least the ones we got stateside. I think it's just so fun to ring out. It's not as fun to throw in the turns compared to a 3rd gen, especially if you were to find one with, the mechanical all-wheel drive steering. But man, or should I say all-wheel steering, not all-wheel drive. Did not have all-wheel drive, but you know what I mean. All-wheel steering. So this is my, I think the Honda Prelude 5th Gen is my second favorite Prelude generation. The design is just so gorgeous. The power is there that you would expect from a modern car. The VTEC just pulls you in, ropes you in. No, it doesn't have the cool mechanical four-wheel steering. That's why it comes in second place in my books compared to the incredible 3rd generation. All right, but I'll see you guys in the comments. What do you want to see from Honda with the 6th generation hybrid Prelude? Do you want an option for a manual? Is that something that you want carried over from all the previous generations that had a manual transmission? Do you still want that? The manual is just perfection here, and Honda nailed it with this one. I was expecting not to like this one as much as the 4th gen because that one had the 4-wheel steering. I don't know, I just like the interior a lot better here. I like how this engine pulls. I know the 4th gen had the optional VTEC, but this engine just feels so much more fun to me compared to the 4th gen's engine. Yeah, like this is just a fantastic car. It's aged extremely well. I think even the 3rd gen aged really, really well. All right, and maybe that just goes to Honda's testament of building really good cars, really quality vehicles. All right, do they build them like this anymore? No, this is made in Japan, right? The new Prelude, I believe, is going to be made somewhere in the United States, probably in, it could be in Marysville, Ohio, it could be in Indiana. I'm not quite sure where they're going to build it yet. But this 5th gen, yeah, this one really, really feels special to me. And man, it's just one of those vehicles I can just look at all day long and bring a smile to my face. All right, I'll see you guys in the comments. Let me know, can you rank your favorite Prelude generations? I haven't driven the 1st or the 2nd yet at the time of this recording. Maybe I'll fall in love with those. I'm not quite sure yet. All right, I'm sure I'll love them for their own unique, spunky characteristics. But this one comes into a close second place compared to the one Nathan is in from TFL. Oh, this is a good one. It's a good one, guys. I could really appreciate having 4-wheel steering right here, but I think it did an okay job with the parking. No backup cameras. That's how we did it in the old days. I'll see you in the next one.